Grandpa gave each of his 12 grandkids a luxury car. Only I, the most devoted one, got nothing. Grandpa said, "You live close to work. A car would be wasted on you." I said nothing. That night, I quietly canceled his $400,000 a year private nursing home. At the family dinner, I arrived 10 minutes late. I sat on the cold seat closest to the door. I watched Grandpa Jiang Zhengguo sit at the head. He took the 12 cars and handed them to my cousins one by one, from Audis to BMWs. Everyone got one. Then Grandpa called me. "Jiang Chen, your office is close. Just take the subway. A car would be wasted on you." The cheers at the table were still going. I nodded. I only said, "Got it." Then, in all that noise, I quietly put down my chopsticks. No one knew. My fists were clenched white under the table. My nails dug into my palm. The pain actually cleared my head. I looked across those excited faces. My oldest cousin, Jiang Wei, was posing with his car key for social media. His caption said, "Grandpa loves me, my first Audi." My second cousin, Jiang Lin, was already calling friends. She made plans to tint the car tomorrow. Even the youngest cousin, Jiang Xiaoyu, just turned 20. She got a BMW 3 Series too. She was crying from excitement. Then I remembered something. Last year on Jiang Xiaoyu's birthday, Grandpa sent a $20,000 gift in the family chat. He said Xiaoyu was our little princess. But on my birthday, he never mentioned it in the group. Not even a private message. He didn't forget. He never remembered it at all. My mom, Chen Huifan, once told me privately, "In your grandpa's mind, your dad's branch was kicked out long ago." Back then, I told her not to overthink it. I said Grandpa was just cold, not biased. Looking back now, I was the one lying to myself. Sitting next to me, my second uncle, Jiang Jianmin, seemed to notice my silence. He lowered his voice and said, "Chen, don't take it to heart. Your grandpa has his reasons." Then he turned away and kept talking stocks with my third aunt's husband. Right, Grandpa considered everyone. Jiang Wei needed status, so he got an Audi. Zhonglin needed practicality, so she got a BMW. My cousin wanted flash, so he got a Mustang. Only I was considered into having nothing. I picked up my drink. I took a sip, but it was too sweet to swallow. My company moved to the development zone 6 months ago. My commute is 90 minutes one way. I had been saving up for a car, but every month I had to pay Grandpa's nursing home. $36,000, so I couldn't save a dime. I wanted to ask why, out of 13 grandkids, I was the only one left out. But Grandpa had already turned away. He kept talking with Jiang Wei about the Audi's features. I noticed that while Grandpa talked to him, his eyes flicked toward me. It was quick. If I hadn't been watching him, I never would have caught it. There was no guilt in his eyes, no hesitation, not even effort, just familiar indifference, as if it was normal for me not to matter. I suddenly remembered when my dad was alive. Grandpa treated him the same. At family gatherings, Dad always sat in the corner. No one talked to him. No one served him food. He didn't even get toasted. I didn't understand that. I thought Dad was just introverted, bad at socializing. Then Dad passed away. Mom took me to the funeral. Grandpa didn't even stand to greet us. He just sat there and said flatly, "You're here." After that, nothing else. I was only a teenager then. I knelt before Dad's portrait, crying and shaking. Mom stayed silent beside me. She only held my hand tight. Now I realize she wasn't heartless. She didn't dare cry because she knew no one in this family would care. Dinner kept going. My cousins excitedly talked about picking up their cars tomorrow. Which color looked better? Should they add options? Where was insurance cheaper? I ate quietly. Nothing had taste. I thought back to 6 years ago. Grandpa had his first stroke. My uncles privately complained about the cost. They wanted to hire caregivers and take turns at home. I was the one who stepped up. I said I'd pay for the nursing home. I had only worked 4 years then. My salary was $25,000 a month. I borrowed from friends to cover the first year's nearly $400,000 bill, and I carried it for 6 years. In those 6 years, the cost rose from $380,000 to $430,000 a year. Every month I sent $36,000 without fail, straight to the designated account. After rent and basic expenses, almost nothing was left. I lived across the city in an old neighborhood. A 40 square meter studio, all the furniture was the landlord's old stuff. I couldn't afford a down payment. So I had no home of my own and no extra money. So I didn't dare date seriously. But there was once a girl. Her name was Suwan. She was my college classmate. After graduation, we worked in the same city. We dated for 2 years. She never judged me for being poor, or for living in an old apartment, or for coding overtime on weekends. She only wanted more time with me. But I had to send out $36,000 every month, so I took freelance outsourcing jobs, building system architectures on weekends. Once on her birthday, I promised to take her somewhere nice. But an urgent project came up. I worked until 1 a.m., then remembered to text her. "Jiang Chen, do you think waiting for you is my job?" I called her that night. She didn't pick up. The next day, she sent a long message. "I'm not afraid of struggling with you. I'm afraid you never tell me what you're struggling for. Who do you send money to every month? Why do you never explain? What am I to you?" I didn't explain. Not because I didn't want to, because I was scared. I didn't dare tell her I had poured all my savings into a bottomless pit. I didn't dare tell her that in my so-called big family, I couldn't even get a car. I didn't dare tell her I was killing myself to prove my worth, but couldn't even keep basic dignity. Suwan still left in the end. On the day we broke up, she stood outside my rental. With red eyes, she said, "Jiang Chen, you're a good person, but you're not ready for love. You carry too much inside. So much there's no room for me." I nodded and said, "I'm sorry." The moment the door closed, I heard her crying in the hallway for a long time. I leaned against the door and looked up, but my tears still fell. Since then, I've never dated again. Not because I didn't want to. I was truly scared. Scared of hurting someone, and scared of realizing again that I didn't even deserve to love. Every quarter, Grandpa's bill came in. The care assistant would post a photo in the family chat. They'd tag me on purpose. Payment received. Thank you, young Master Chen. Young Master Chen. I turned those words over in my head for a long time. I couldn't describe the taste. In the family chat, second uncle Zhang Jianmin sent a thumbs up. He said, Chen, you're thoughtful. Third aunt Jiang Shulan added, good children are blessed. First uncle Zhang Jiangguo said nothing. He only sent a red packet. The note said, thanks everyone. I tapped it and got 80 cents. The group chat felt as lively as New Year. Only my message was buried under emojis and blessings. I exited the group chat, then opened my calculator. 6 years, 72 months, $36,000 a month, plus the nursing home's yearly holiday care surcharge, equipment maintenance fee, and specialist checkup fee. At least $430,000 a year on average. 6 years made $258 million. In this city, that's a down payment on a 2-bedroom. That's a fully loaded Porsche. That's my mom's retirement money. And I gave it to someone who wouldn't even give me a car. I suddenly remembered something Suwan once asked. Is your grandpa good to you? Back then, I answered without thinking, yes, he's my grandpa. Now I realize that wasn't my real answer. It was the answer I wished were true. Before dinner ended, my oldest cousin Zhang Wei suddenly changed tone. He smiled and asked if I felt upset. He asked if I wanted to borrow his Audi for a few days. Borrow, not have. And he made sure to say, my Audi. Grandpa lightly tapped the table. He said the car decision was final. Then he looked at me. His tone softened a little. You're a good kid. Grandpa knows that. But your work is different. You sit in an office writing code. Why would you need such a nice car? I really wanted to ask. When Jiang Hao got promoted, Grandpa gave him a $100,000 watch. He said clients needed to see status. When Zhang Lin got engaged, Grandpa gave her $300,000. He said she couldn't look weak to her in-laws. When Jiang Wei's son had his celebration, Grandpa paid the down payment for a small apartment. Then what was my $258 million over 6 years? But I didn't ask. I only said, I understand. When I walked out of the hotel, Jiang Wei chased after me. He patted my shoulder. His smile was fake. Chen, don't take it to heart. Grandpa is old. Sometimes he misses things. If you really need a car, you can drive my old Volkswagen first. I'll take you car shopping later. I looked at him calmly. Didn't you total that Volkswagen last month? Jiang Wei's smile froze. Then he laughed dryly. Oh right, I forgot. How about this? I'll ask around later. If any of my buddies has an old car, I'll get you a cheap deal. No thanks. The subway is fine. Jiang Wei shrugged and turned away. After a few steps, he turned back and whispered, Chen, I don't know if I should say this. That $36,000 you send Grandpa every month, it's not really necessary. Your uncle told us privately. Most of that money just goes to the nursing home. Grandpa doesn't actually use that much. Why not learn from your second uncle? Just pay something symbolic. Why be so serious? I didn't answer. Seeing no reaction, he seemed bored. He waved and left. I stood outside the hotel. Cold wind blew over. One sentence kept echoing in my head. Your uncle told us privately. So they all knew. My first uncle knew. My second uncle knew. My third aunt knew. Jiang Wei knew. Maybe even Zhang Xiaoyu knew. That money never had to be paid in full. But for 6 whole years, not one person reminded me. No one said, Chen, you work hard for your money. Pay a little less. They watched me send away most of my salary every month. Watched me live in a tiny old apartment. Watched me refuse to buy even one decent coat. Watched me carry all the pressure alone. Then sent a red packet in the family chat and said, Chen is so thoughtful. This was my family. On the way home, my phone buzzed. It was a payment reminder from Kangi Nursing Home. Next quarter, the total due was $108,000.